Hey, ladies.
Hey,
I don't know what was happening. Been having technical issues all day long. Welcome,
I
welcome, welcome to the
know.
Real Talk Show. There might
Thank
be a couple
you.
more ladies joining us, but so glad to see Stephanie and Laura and Dr. K. You made it, Dr. K.
I made it.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay! So I'm sorry again. Apologies if any of you guys out there are watching and was trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Technical issues, technical issues, technical issues, but got it now. And so I want to honor everyone's time and say welcome to the Real Talk Show. It is a platform that me and Dr. Kim created to allow women to come and talk about the issues that affect us and give insight to those that are watching, words of wisdom, as well as just engage in dialogue and conversation with regard to some of the topics that we have in our real arena here. And so I'm Rochelle Marie Lawson, the Queen of Feeling Fabulous, and I'm a business owner, multi-business owner. Been in business for 31 years and or going on my 31st year, and really like communicating with regards to the issues that affect us women. I've had a lot of issues over my last 30 years of being a business owner in a woman business owner in a male dominated industry. And we do, I guess, kind of live in a male dominated world. And so I've had to maneuver and juggle and juke and jive, as they say, and some of these issues that we'll be discussing over the course of the talk show. But just want to say welcome to the guests and the panelists that we have with us today. And Dr. Kim, why don't you share a little bit about you?
Hello, hello. I am Dr. Kim Brown Barber, better known as Dr. Kim. So I am the CEO and founder of Journey to Becoming, where our platform is really focused on helping people to get to their becoming, because it's all a part of the journey. The journey is all a part of the becoming. And so we have a women's platform and we have a platform for college students. So we're all about helping, encouraging, inspiring so that we can be able to know that we're all in this together and we'll get there together too.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so our first panelist, Stephanie. Stephanie, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, good evening. Good evening. I'm so glad to be here. I am originally from Miami, Florida. I am a counselor and I'm also a pastor. And I'm currently pursuing my PhD at Pepperdine University. So I will be a doctor soon. I passed my comps exam on the 26th of March. So I'm looking to move forward in global leadership and to assist colleges and nonprofits with finding leaders who are committed to them. And so also I want to teach at the collegiate level. And so those are some of my goals that I'm working toward. I currently live in the Roanoke area in Virginia, and I'm excited about being here. It's very different being from Miami. And it's interesting that we're talking about history because I worked at a history research foundation for 7 years in Miami.
Nice.
So I love history. I'm a history major. So this was right up my alley. I'm excited on tonight to talk about whatever topics we have.
Well, then that means she's the guru. Yes. She's the guru then, Rochelle. She done made it plain. She's the
guru. Oh gosh, I try.
We had a couple of other ladies join us as well, and so I'm just letting them in to join the fabulous women that we have here. But Laura Cheadle, tell the viewers about Miss Fabulous Laura.
Absolutely. I am Laura Cheadle. I am a former corporate attorney turned life choreographer and burlesque dancer. And using the concepts of burlesque, I help women who have been faced with some sort of a betrayal untangle themselves from the past, powerfully reclaim their sexy so they can create their own happily ever after and learn to enjoy life every day in the present moment as it is. And I'm with you, Stephanie, about loving history. Especially in the legal profession, looking back over, the historical reasons behind laws, the Constitution, the original documents. Definitely passionate about all things historical and how to honor the past, but also powerfully move into the future and correct a lot of things that we've done wrong.
Definitely.
Love it.
Right.
Okay, Miss Mel, tell us about you.
Hi, ladies. Can everyone hear me?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Pleasure to meet you all and really appreciate the honor. I'm finally glad I get to meet Rochelle. I've been following you for so long and oh, yay, now we finally actually get to do something together. Yeah, I've been following you for some time now, and you're definitely a blessing to women everywhere, and you're obviously a role model, everything you do. So
Beautiful.
thank you for this opportunity. And Dr. Barber, it's a pleasure to meet you as well. I know you're a co-host to this show, so pleasure to meet all of you ladies. My name is Mel Shipman. I am an international mindset coach. I work with women and basically encourage, empower, and equip them to shift their thinking so they can walk into their destiny. So history is huge parts of the work that I do because I focus a lot on self-limiting beliefs, but helping people to understand the process of true change. And a lot of it deals with understanding who you've been up to a certain point in your life. And looking back at your own personal history. And then also executive producer of the documentary When the Soul Cries, Trauma, Tears, Triumph. It's on Amazon Prime. So I've done a lot of work with the Fearless Storytellers movement. We are an organization that seeks to facilitate healing and breakthrough on a massive scale so that people can really be free from past pain and trauma, just like Laura was talking about. Dealing with some sort of betrayal. We work to help women overcome those traumatic moments in their life, however it happened, by telling their story. So we produce books and documentaries and just a lot of great work coming from there. So yeah, just a pleasure to be here with everybody. Looking forward to our conversation tonight.
Welcome.
Nice.
And thank you for joining us. I love it. I love what you do and what you're all about. And it makes sense that you would join us because we all are, I think, synchronistically connected. So I know I am.
Exactly.
So thank you. Thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate that. JC, are you with us?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I want to see you.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So it's my camera that has decided to have gremlins this evening. I don't know why it just waited until 8 o'clock Eastern to decide to have a gremlin. It's probably wore out, but that's okay.
I can understand that.
I'm still be working to try to resolve the camera issue, but it's a real pleasure to be here with you. I'm sorry I am working. I'm not trying to stay in the balcony. That was the old JC, up in the balcony behind the pillar, down underneath the seat in the dark. So I'm definitely not trying to do that, but it's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Thank you so much, Dr. Kim and Rochelle, for inviting me to join this esteemed panel of powerhouse women. Yes, indeed. Woohoo!
Yes.
Oh, yes, indeed. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. I am JC Gardner, and by day I work for an international relief and development agency as a national advisor of volunteer management, and by night, by candlelight, I write. Yes, indeed. So I am an award-winning author. I am a writing coach. I'm a ghostwriter, and I am an inspirational speaker. And I absolutely love taking and working with brand new authors to help them write their books and tell their story, no matter what their story is. That is my niche. I love working with newbies, putting them through my writing coaching program, and I love doing ghostwriting, and I like to do speaking, helping women reclaim their destiny, because so many times we help others with their divine appointment. We really do that well. And next thing you know, we have totally forgotten what our assignment was. So I love telling people about my story, how I overcame it, in the hopes that I can help them overcome it too. So that's it for me. Like all of y'all, I could talk all night. But in the meantime, I'm going to go on mute and try to fix this camera issue. What? The devil is a liar. Okay, that's it.
I love it. Well, welcome, Casey. Welcome, Stephanie. Welcome, Mel. And welcome,
Thank
Laura.
you.
It's a blessing and a pleasure to have you. And so I really do want to jump in because I want to honor your time.
Yeah, definitely.
And so tonight's topic, we're talking about history and society. And I have kind of like a little scripted thing that I wrote up. But while while historical narratives are often embraced as representing the true story or true history, there is a growing awareness of the degree of to which they are in fact composed of specific interpretations of certain events and not others. As Winston Churchill stated, history is written by the victors. More than representing a specific version of the past, historical narratives are also oriented to the future. They create deep beliefs about who we are, where we come from, and what are the right prospects. They also construct images of others and meanings of intergroup relationships, describing others as enemies or allies, superiors or inferiors. Thus, historical narratives prescribe a specific course of action and justify our attitudes and behaviors towards others, and particularly towards other women. So let's talk about this a little bit with regards to history. And I have also written up a few questions with regards to it. And so I'm just going to start off right away with regards to the first question. And the first question I want to ask is, when it comes to history, women, esteemed panel, in history of women, what is it that you would like to see written about women, not in the past, but the women that are right now living today? Who would like to take that?
If you don't mind, maybe I would. I think that's a great question. I love that your question is future focused, which is something that I always love to talk about, progression and advancement. I think if we were to, moving forward, write the history of women going forward and how we're represented in history that's documented in books and everything and all of that, I would like to see more about how we pushed past boundaries, how we redefined what female power is, how we removed the negative labels of when women demonstrate strength or power, and how it's not necessarily a masculine trait that we have, but more of just us owning who we are and not asking for permission over something that we have authority over.
I love it.
And
I love that. I love that. That's awesome.
I just want to see, more about how the essence of the woman actually did great things. And not necessarily like the traits that she had or, not just that, but how did her essence, how did her being who she was and being bold in that actually create positive change in this world?
I love it. I love it. Stephanie, do you have anything you want to say with regards to that?
Yes, I do. The role that women have played in politics and economics, in every facet in every industry, has forged where we are. And so that has not been recorded for the most part. Women have not been given their due. And so many times now we're seeing women being honored. We're seeing women being recognized for what they've done. Women who've worked at NASA, women who've been scientists, women who have just done awesome things, women who have served in the military. And so now we are looking at what has happened in the past, but I believe as women, we are so empowered now because we have a female leader at the helm of the United States. We have a female vice president. Yes. And so what this does, it changes the game. It sets the stage for our young women, for our daughters to be able to see that a woman can accomplish anything. And so that is such an encouragement for us to go from not being able to vote to holding one of the most important offices in the land. And so we have totally changed our trajectory 180 degrees. And we see now that women are so able to do everything. So to answer the question for the future, we need to make sure that our voices are written in the books, that we are the ones writing our history and not depending upon men or others who don't recognize all the greatness and the impact that women have had on society to tell our story for us. We need to be able to tell our story for ourselves.
I
And
love
so,
that.
yes. And so, as a historian, I guess, I would love to do that. And actually, way years back, I thought about doing some history books and talking about the advancement of women and talking about the contributions of women in a woman's voice, because it's important that we do that.
Exactly. You know what? We got the connection right here, Rochelle, because JC deals with newbies, with the writers. You got the connection to do it. Isn't that right, Rochelle? Stephanie can she can just make that happen, because that's important.
Yeah,
Yes.
very important.
That's
and
important.
I like what you said about, women writing, we write our history, not have some else write it for us. They leave, they leave a lot of stuff out, and we're not always depicted in the strength and in the wisdom and in the confidence and in the wherewithal that we had in the past. And again, I go back to the women's suffrage movement, when women were just wanting to have their voice and they were being told, well, you're not smart enough to vote. And like, what do you mean I'm not smart enough to vote? I can do more than just have babies and cook dinner, right? And cook and take care of the household. And so, again, most of that probably was the historical aspects of it probably were captured by men and written by men. But I know there are women that were from that time period that also wrote and shared their stories. And I know the two voices are completely different. What the women included and what the men included writing about the women were completely different. And even in the 60s, I mean, a lot of women were housewives and stuff, and they still weren't considered to be smart enough. You know what I'm saying? I recently recently took a trip, and I was coming back through San Antonio airport, and they had this like whole women's thing. It was Women's Month. They had this whole women's thing up on the display. And I was walking by, like waiting for my bag, walking by, and I realized that there were women. Oh, yay, JC! I realized that there were women that had done some phenomenal things in aviation that I never knew about. In fact, there was an African American woman. I think she was the first pilot, female African American pilot in 1925. 1925, they had propellers, right, that would fly to San Antonio and give classes about aviation to men and other women that were interested in aviation. And we never heard that story. We never, or any of the story of those women that was on that display. And I was like, why don't we hear this? And then the funny thing is, today I'm working and I just had the news on, and they were talking about how United Airlines is the first airline that has a mission to have a huge increase in female pilots that fly their planes. Women, when we get in a stressful situation, we can handle it like nobody. Like the gal that engine blew out and she was flying a Southwest plane and landed that baby like, what's his name, landed in the Hudson River, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because she was an Air Force combat pilot, but we don't know that. We don't hear that. We don't. When I fly, I see very little women in that role as the captain. So it's a beautiful thing that we're coming together to talk about how we want our history to be written moving forward. Laura, what do you got to say about this?
Well, I am all about judgment and stereotypes. And what I want going forward is for people to refrain from talking about she's a working mom, or she balanced kids and work, or she was fat but she was smart, or she was too skinny, but she was smart, or she was really sexy, but she wasn't easy. All of those judgments, we're moms and it's wrong. We're not moms and it's wrong. We're skinny and it's wrong. We're fat and it's wrong. Our voice is too shrill and it's wrong. All of this judgment. We are humans. We are smart. We are sexy. We are spiritual. We are whatever we are. Quit judging me by the stereotype. I want narratives about women as humans. I don't care if they had a shrill voice. I don't care if they were a size 6 or a size 60. It doesn't matter. I want to hear about what is inside, their essence, their abilities, and their power as a human being.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
Love
Nice.
it.
That's actually
that's
really
good.
interesting that you said that, Laura, because when you think about history and like when history talks about like maybe a great man in history, we don't focus on those things. We don't care about what size his pants were or what shoe size he wore or how tall he was. Like none of that ever becomes the subject of discussion. It doesn't become the topic.
No.
But yet it's so interesting that as women, that's a hurdle we have to jump over in order to actually be recognized for what we're really made of. So
Right.
I appreciate your comment there. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody
You
has
see that fighting constantly.
Yeah. No one
you
has
see that happening constantly, even now. We talk about history and how it was in the 60s, like you were talking about, Rochelle, but a lot of that's happening now when you're going into the boardrooms. It's like, oh, for a woman, you're good. Or, for a woman, you're good. But what does that mean? I mean, either I'm good or I'm not.
Right.
And practicing law and having kids, it was asked of me, can you manage that? You've got kids. Can you handle this big case? Never asked a man that. A man has never been asked, can you take on a big case because you're a father?
And they have,
Exactly.
and they have kids too, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It really is a trip. I mean, I think of some of the stuff that, I was subjected to just being a woman in a male-dominated industry. And it was always, had some kind of sex appeal going on with it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, yeah, I know I'm cute, but that has nothing to do with my knowledge base on how we can do what we need to do for your business, right? I was in meetings where I was considered the secretary, and my husband was like, "No, that's the boss. That's the main chick right there. You need to be being nice to her." But again, it was all stereotypical. I couldn't be the boss; I had to be somebody's secretary. I couldn't get the engineering job, so I had to start my own company. Because I was a female and I looked 12. Well, what does that got to do with anything? It's about what I have inside my knowledge base, and let me give me a shot to prove it. You do that with the guys, so why won't you give me a shot? JC, what are your thoughts about what we're talking about this evening?
My goodness, and so many people have just laid it all on the table. I'm like, wow. I mean, everything everyone has said resonates with my spirit. Like, I definitely can relate to a lot of what everyone is saying. But I remember when Amanda Gorman finished her poem, right? A young woman who was the poet laureate, the first youth poet laureate. And I was proud. It was like a moment of like, yes, yes, yes. And then I watched a newscast afterward, and the comment was made, the poem was fantastic. It was so moving. And she was so well spoken. Well, what did you expect her to be? Did you expect her not to be? Well, I mean, it really like took a pen and poked it in the balloon, because I don't think people realize sometimes what they're even saying. Like, did you not expect her to be well spoken? What did you expect other than that? It was brilliant, but you still had to find fault. You still had to say something to detract from the greatness. And that is what I find still goes on today. It's a little bit better, but is it? Like, sometimes it seems like it's a little bit better, but then we'll get in a situation like Dr. Kim was saying, where it's still going on today. It's just a different color. or a
Mm-hmm.
different flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it's still those undertones,
Sure.
like Laura was saying, are you able to handle this case?
Mm-hmm.
Have you,
Mm-hmm.
have you,
Mm-hmm.
hey, the question is, sir, have you given birth? Now,
Right.
until you have given birth, then ask me, what can I handle? Let's talk about
Right.
that. Because until that takes place,
Exactly.
I don't think you can come for me. Okay.
I love that.
Exactly.
It's like until you're giving birth
Exactly.
and you got one baby nursing on your boob while you trying to get the other one from stop running around and come over here and sit down and work and cook and cook dinner too. Until you do all that, you ain't even
Right.
in my category.
With
Hello.
one, with one
Exactly.
free hand, because you only have one
Right.
free hand.
That's
So
it.
Exactly.
That's
you
it.
can
Exactly.
put dress,
Category.
so you can put pants and a shirt and a bra on with one hand.
Hello.
Exactly.
You got a baby
Exactly.
in the other.
Exactly.
Come
I
talk to
think you
me
can
about
handle it.
multitasking.
I think we can handle it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's real, man. Because I tell you, even more. I liked how Stephanie was talking about, how we have this leader now, right? In one of the highest offices in the U.S. But yet she took it back to the history, right? And said we changed the trajectory, and that's exactly right, because that's not where it was heading. That's definitely not where it was heading. Because if you go back in history and you go and look and see what it looked like, that's not where it was heading, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was heading in a different way. So, I mean, I don't know, Rochelle, if I can ask this question, but it's like, how do you see the changing the trajectory even now? Because even though we see this now, before now, somebody had to change it. So, where's the next change? Is my question. Where's the next change in changing the trajectory dealing with history? If anybody can take that.
Who wants that?
Come on, grab it.
I'll take it because
Okay, go Stephanie.
we're in the midst of change right now. We just got Kamala Harris as our vice president.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
we have to be able to walk in step with that. So we are at the helm of change. So we are in the process of changing now. And so with her being the vice president, I believe that what will happen is that will empower and embolden more women to take advantage of opportunities that they thought were never available to them. And so I believe that in itself opened a window, opened a door.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It opened up a totally new realm for women to walk through and be able to shine, to be able to be seen and recognized and acknowledged and respected for who they are, which are God's daughters, his beautiful, beautiful daughters. One of the most beautiful creations God made is woman. And so that has always been overshadowed, that's always been put in the background. But women are the ones who have always uplifted and supported the men.
That's true.
And so now with this, now we're being able to have our talents to shine and being able to be seen as equal to any man.
That's right.
And so I believe that that's where it's headed, and we're in the process of that happening. A lot more women are now understanding that they are able to make it happen and that they are able to take advantage of what's out there for them.
We're gonna pass the collection plate for
Yeah.
Go on, girl. Go on. Love it.
Cash App, so we can just go ahead and
Right?
That's another drop the mic one. Rochelle, that's another drop the mic one right there.
Wait. I don't have
Yes.
I
I love to jump in on something that you said, Stephanie, about women supporting men, because we have. And I think the next change is women really supporting other women. Because although, there are women supporting women, we still judge ourselves.
Good.
We still judge other people.
That's good.
Do that? Yeah. Are you sure you can take that on? Ooh, what about?
That's good.
Yeah, that changes us telling each other, telling our sisters, you got this and you can do that, and I will help you.
Yep. I was just going to say something very similar.
Yes.
Get a microphone.
Yes.
Because
I just need to get. No, we're gonna get one of those.
No,
We're gonna get a play microphone.
Right. Lord, but you are absolutely right. How can we expect the men to change the dialogue about women in history if we don't change it ourselves?
Right.
I mean, we are the most harshest people to other women, and that's what
That's
I was
true.
talking about, the whole thing of uniting women around the world. We got to get past that. We cannot be downing another sister. We need to, if she's down, we need to pick one of us, get on each side of her and pick her up and take her on the journey. But so often we don't do that. I see it all day long, and I know you ladies do too. And sometimes I'm like, whoa. Whoa, you know, we need to support each other. We need to stop, we really need to stop just being, I can't even think of the word right now, but just being unsupportive of women and what they do, no matter what it is.
Because even J-Lo at the Super Bowl, it was women that attacked her. We attacked her. It was not
she looks I was like, she looks great. I love Shakira. I like J-Lo. I thought those ladies did a really good job in, of course they're sexy. That's what their whole persona, that's what their whole act is about, right? That's what Shakira, when she gets to moving them hips. Well, J-Lo can dance that off too, but you know what I'm saying? But I think so many times that people see that and they can't get past that. J-Lo is a business owner. She is her brand. So
yes, she is.
She was back in the day, she was teaching dance lessons to what's the beautiful gal that plays on Scandal? Black girl.
Kerry Washington?
Yes. Kerry Washington used to take dance lessons from Jennifer Lopez in the Bronx back in the day.
Nice.
So both of them have elevated themselves tremendously. So I've seen it in business. I remember when I was the president of the National Association of Women Business Owners Silicon Valley chapter, and at that time, Carly Fiorina was the first. I believe she was the head of the first CEO of Hewlett Packard, which was a company that would not give me a job back in the 80s because I was a female, right? But I reached out to her because we were having this big event where we were honoring the top 50 women-owned businesses in Silicon Valley in conjunction and partnership with the Silicon Valley Business Journal. And I reached out to her for her to be a keynote. And she had her secretary get back to me. And I said, well, no, I don't. She said, well, I can come. I'm like, you're her secretary. I don't want you. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't being, I wasn't minimizing her position at all, because I know she held a really esteemed position as the secretary, right? But I wanted Carly to speak because I wanted Carly to share her journey about what it took for her to get to the position of being, the top dog in this very male-dominated industry. I didn't get her. She sent a nice, little word thing that I read from the podium. But the point is, we want women to share their stories of their power, not so much their power, their sexiness, and then their power. We want the dialogue to be written by us, and we need to support other women as they're coming up. And so, very nice, Laura. I'm bringing that up because ladies, we can.
It's
we
important,
can cut you up with our eyes, right? We can cut you up with our eyes.
And that's not good, right? We shouldn't be known for that. And then, a lot of times you were talking about when somebody's down, right? When the woman is down and being able to pick them up, but when you're up and you're doing well, I need to be cheering you on, right? I need to be saying yes, right? Oh, and then when you get there, don't forget about other women who you can actually start to mentor and pull up as well. The mentoring is not happening like it should. A lot of times we get so busy, we don't mentor anybody else to help pull them up or to prepare them to move forward. And we need to do more of that as women in mentoring, because and thing about it is that I see it in some areas, in some areas I don't. And I'm gonna tell you, for women of color, are we doing that more? Because And the thing about it is, don't get stuck on thinking that you have to be mentored by somebody that's in your same culture, because you don't. And I want to put that out there because I think that's important for people to get that and understand that. You can be able to be mentored by many different types of people, and you want that so that you have more of the variation of life, of what is out there and what you need to do. How do you see yourselves building that history, mentoring somebody else? I'm just curious. How do you see that?
Actually, if I can just add a little thing that you were just stating before to what Laura and what you, Dr. Barber, were saying before we get to that question. Before we can expect anybody to be able to accurately represent ourselves in history or share our true story in history, before we can even begin to really be able to stop creating these fissures and cracks that we have in our own sisterhood as women by the things that we say to each other. That dialogue that we have when we're talking about women supporting other women, that dialogue, when we tear each other down, is an indication of what we're already saying to ourselves. It's only natural that what comes out of our mouth is already pre-wired in our brains.
Exactly.
And so when you can naturally and easily pick another woman apart on something that genuinely does not matter at the end of the day, and that's all you focus on, it is because you are in the habit and in the condition of doing it to yourself or being subjected to that.
Yes.
So for me, in order for history to truly be written, we have to start from the very root of it all and really start looking at how we speak to ourselves, how we speak to our daughters that we raise, how we speak, and also to other little girls growing up and young women and other women as well. But when we don't take the time to analyze the language that we've given our inner voice, we're all born with voices, but we're not born with language. It's something that we learn along the way.
Sure.
And so when we don't take the time to look at the language we've been given, our own voices, then we're not going to really know how to actively use positive, uplifting talk to where it is natural and effortless.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That's real.
Ma'am.
Because then that.
Phone drop. Okay.
I mean, because it's so true. I mean, ladies, you guys are just sharing some just wonderful things. It's so true. And it's like, we are the people, we're the little mice in the room, and no one wants to say anything because the elephant might step on us. And we're here and we're like, to hell with the elephant. Step on us because we gonna say it because it needs to be said. And it needs to be said until, and as my mama say, I'm gonna tell you this, and tell you this till I drive it home in your head, girl. But by the time you leave my house, you're gonna know what I mean when I say this. And that's so true. We need to just keep driving that in, that we need to support each other no matter what. Of course, if you're doing out there doing some crazy, cray stuff, that's just jack up our history. We ain't gonna support you. We're gonna call you out on it, which is what we should do as women. We still need to call each other out on our shit, right?
Yep.
But we need to think about what we say and how we talk to ourselves and what we focus on. You also said something really funny and it took me back. When I was young, I was really shy and I could never do public speaking. And then I was forced to do it by, I was asked to read at one of my church masses, right? And so I was like, I can't do that. And I thought, why can't I do that? It's like, because when people were going up there, I was the one. Look at those shoes. Look at that dress too tight, dress too short, pants too tight. They flooded. The hair ain't right. I was the one. And so when I thought about that, I'm like, you know what? The reason why I don't want to publicly speak is because I don't want people to do that to me. So I had to change my mindset and realize, who cares? If that person is bold enough to get up and do something that I couldn't do, then I should.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's what happens so often in society with women, we see that, we do that, we act that, and we don't really know it's all about us. And so I love it. Okay, so I want to ask you ladies, with regards to when you were taught history, when we were taught history in school about the history of our country, were you ever presented with multiple historical views and aspects about the women in history? Really think about it. Other than Susan B. Anthony.
Yeah, no.
Right. And I want to ask you this. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that in our youth, in our where our children are getting educated, why aren't they teaching the children more about the historical contributions and goodness that women have contributed to our society?
Woo, how much hours we got?
I know.
Right? Exactly. Where do you want me to start? Right? Exactly.
Part 2 or something.
Right? We can do that too. We can do that too. But I mean, I would love for you ladies to, to share. Why do you think that is? Why do you think, they never focused on any of the women? Because you know what? I guarantee you from the day moving forward, when we look back, and when I'm 110, I'm only 29 now, but when I'm 110, when I look back and I look at some of the stuff that's going to be written about history, you will see something in there about Michelle Obama. I'm almost guaranteed it, because she was, the other first ladies did some stuff, but they kind of were piggybacking off of what their husbands were doing. Okay. Michelle Obama was doing her own thing. She was Barack's law school mentor, right? He wasn't the other way around. She was the powerhouse behind Barack Obama, and he couldn't have done half the stuff he did without her, because she's very smart. She's very articulate. She's very eloquent. She's beautiful. But not only that, she has skills that, she probably had to teach Barack a few. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm 110 and I look back on the time period, she will be one woman that I know will be in history. I'm not sure right now what others will be other than Kamala Harris. And I got to go back. Condoleezza Rice was the first woman to hold a position where she was third in line to be president. And so she probably will be in there, and Kamala for sure will be in there. But what do you ladies think about that?
Well, I'll speak to that. First and foremost, we live in a patriarchal society where men are uplifted. So the story is told from a man's perspective. That's number one. And so because of that alone, it's just been this new millennium within this decade that we actually have seen women progress more and more and more, to the point in politics and economics and business and industry, in every area, we've seen women advance, and we see the contributions of finally going back to what I said. But one of the reasons why we have not seen different perspectives is because, again, we have not written, well, some have to an extent, but we have not written our own stories. So there really is a limited pool to come from. Now you have Maya Angelou, you have Toni Morrison, you have women who write fiction, and women who are writers, women who are historians, who come and tell our stories, yes. But that has not, and that is very inspirational. I know for me, women have always led the way. I've had a female pastor. I've had female teachers who are very inspiring to me. I understand the importance of men, and I understand the role of men. But for the most part, women have encouraged me to move forward. My mother and my grandmother and so many others, my mentors around me, it's been the women who have propelled me to move forward and to do your best. And so until we begin to write our own stories, until we begin to tell our own narrative. And we're doing that. But we need to just do it in a greater way. Until we tell it from our own perspective, then it will be only viewed in the way that it's given.
I love that. I love it. I mean, it makes complete sense. It really does. Laura.
Now, I am a history major, so that's the reason why I'm kind of
right.
It's all good.
Look, I feel like I need to have like 10 and 10.
I got that. I got that.
I'm gonna let
No, I got that.
whoever else.
Give me an educational line.
Like, there's educational back. I was like, okay,
little
I got
education.
that. Yes, I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
I love
I'm
it.
like, yes.
Oh, Laura,
yes.
I want your take.
Yeah, because I think it goes a little bit yes to everything. And we also have to get over that belief in our head that good girls don't brag, that we don't want to look conceited. We have women have done amazing things for years, for decades, for centuries. And we still have that belief that I'm not going to brag about that. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to make other people feel bad. Whereas men, it's a cultural thing that they will toot their own horn. And it's not considered being conceited, and it's not that you're bragging. And I think that's something we can be facing. Yeah, our girls. Speaking your truth is not being conceited. If you are the best at it, state it. You're not overselling yourself, but you are a good girl for stating the truth that you are smart, you are valuable, and you have amazing skills.
I love how you put that. I love how you put that, because you're exactly right. Because if we as women or girls, if we say something that is positive about our own selves, then you're being conceited. You're a little full of yourself, huh? Right? But if a male says it, oh, I love it, assertive, confidence, it's, different adjectives. Same scenario, different adjectives. Very good. Very good.
I love that. Yeah, Laura, I mean, I think you're absolutely right. Yeah, and I'm one that I don't ever. For a long time I didn't share the successes I had or the things that I did, because I didn't want to seem like I was boastful or bragging. And now that I think about it, I should have been sharing stuff, because there could have been a young lady behind me that was coming along in the trenches that I could have shared that, look, I cracked this male-dominated industry and I'm successful. And yeah, I'm sexy, sassy, and I'm a badass with it. But when it comes to doing this business, there's nobody better than me. And you should be able to say that as well. But for the longest time, that was just not me. It still isn't. I mean, I still have a hard time, talking about the good things that I did, or the trends that I made, or the successes or the accomplishments that I had. I always was like, oh, it just seems better when it comes from someone else. Can you read this for me? You know what I mean? So thank you for sharing that, because it does give us permission to talk about the good things we do and not worry about it being boastful or bragging or anything, because if you don't say it, people may not ever hear what you have to share and what you're worth. So thank you for sharing that. JC, sitting there with your old pretty self. What are your thoughts as we talk about this this whole dialogue of women in history and society, and just making and writing our own stories moving forward?
I really think that a lot of it has been said, especially around the youth. Because, I was also that shy person like you, Rochelle. Like I said, I was always that one that was in the back, trying to hide. But I also lacked self-confidence, and a lot of it had to do with staying in my place. Being seen and not heard.
Yeah.
A lot of it had to do with respect your elders.
Yeah.
And when you're wearing that kind of cape, it definitely can cloud the other brilliance that's going on, even in your own light. So a lot of times my light was dimmed because I felt like I was under someone else's authority. And I think a lot of women, a lot of young women too, feel the same way. So they're scared to step out. They're scared to make that move. Even grown women, it took a long time for me to break free from them chains.
Me
but
too.
I think that if we continue to support each other, like we have said, You know, I
Mm-hmm.
spoke to a person yesterday, one of my clients who really wants to write this book, or make a long story short, but she kept telling me, well, if she wrote the book, she didn't have nobody to buy it. And I said, well, why is that? She said,
Mm-hmm.
if no one's going to want to buy the book. I said, girl, you need to change your circle.
Exactly.
She
Yeah.
said, well, I have changed my circle. I said, but not the right circle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can change your
Mm-hmm.
circle, you can change your environment, you can change your circumstances, but it doesn't mean that you changed it for the better. You
Right.
just
Mm-hmm.
changed it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly.
I said there's a multitude of women, organizations, groups that will carry you over the mountaintop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Mm-hmm.
gotta be in the right place.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know, so
Exactly.
when I think about that, I would never have told you any of this 10 years ago. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell people I used to be a doormat, they are shocked. What?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you got to understand this is a process. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the earlier that we start with our young women, the
The
more
better.
confident they
Mm-hmm.
will be as they mature and grow into being adults, knowing that they are brilliant. Let your
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
light shine. But you
Mm-hmm.
really need someone in your ear constantly telling you that, because as we have said, the other person, sometimes our own sister, will
That's
come right
right.
along and knock the wind
Knock
right
you
out of
down.
you
Yeah.
Sucker
Mm-hmm.
punch you all day long.
Yeah.
all day long. And
All
I have
day long.
Yeah.
always said, you know, some people are perennials. They bounce back. Perennials, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to keep replanting them. They got that bounce back. They just grow
Uh-huh.
back. If it's rain,
Mm-hmm.
sleet, snow, here they come. They're gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us are not built that way.
Right.
So I
That's
really
true.
believe the more we support each other and really tell our own story and speak our own truth, and don't be
Yes.
afraid of being called, as we say, the angry black woman, or it's that time of
Exactly.
the month for her, or all these other
Exactly.
things, and put those people in their place with respect and a smile. You know,
Exactly.
I think that we can start to make, baby steps towards that respect that we so richly deserve. And the last thing I want to say is history, history. For years and years, my shero was Harriet Tubman.
Oh,
Mm.
That was one of the women that I did learn about in fourth grade.
yes.
But they never told about the part how she did all of that work during the war, how she helped the soldiers, how she was a phenomenal trailblazer, but in the
Mm-hmm.
end almost died destitute.
Yeah.
And I always thought about all that she did for not just freeing enslaved people, but
Mm-hmm.
she helped the nation.
Yeah.
She
Yes.
helped the army, or whichever part of
Yes.
the branch it was then. But
Sure.
at the end, she still didn't get her props. And now, all these almost a century later, we're realizing
Yes.
everything that Shiro did. And I really believe that that's what's going to start to happen, hopefully, because we're starting to really recognize all that women bring to the table. And I know y'all might be haters, I don't know, but I believe Beyonce will be in the record books. I just do. I do believe that she will be in the
Oh,
history
well, wait
books.
a
I
minute. Wait a
do
minute.
believe that.
You know,
Okay, okay.
Beyonce is already in the record books. Okay.
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
I'm just gonna say, when I do my hair, because y'all have seen me, I go from dark to blonde. When I'm in my blonde, I am totally channeling Beyonce.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You can't tell me that I'm not looking like Queen Bee, even if I have boogers on my nose. You cannot tell me because I got to give it. Yeah, I'm gonna say Beyonce,
Beyonce.
as well as Oprah and a lot of other
Oh
women,
yeah. It's
phenomenal
lots
women.
of them.
A lot
Mm-hmm.
of phenomenal women out there.
Absolutely.
Okay, ladies. So we got 4 minutes left, or four, if you want to talk proper. We've got 4 minutes left. Um, or 4 minutes left. So with regards to that, ladies, if you don't mind just sharing like some last words of wisdom with regards, or last thoughts, or whatever you want with regards to us women, with our history and our society and the things that we want to do, what would you like to share with those that might see this, might be watching now, might see it later? But what are your words of wisdom or thoughts that you want to share? And whoever wants to go first, go ahead, step out. Or I'm gonna be like the teacher and I'm gonna call you. Okay, Mel, go.
Okay, go ahead. I would say that I would love every little girl, no matter where you come from, what color, what creed, what country. Every little girl, every young woman, every woman, every mature woman, every seasoned woman, as you know, we call them, to learn how to love themselves enough so that they become the fullest expression of who they are. I think that's when history will really mean something, is when we learn how to love ourselves enough to realize that when God made us, he made no mistakes.
Exactly.
And the way he made us, the purpose he gave us, it is all perfect in his eyes. And if we live a life that is less than what he created us to live, then we are not becoming the fullest expression of who we were really meant to be in this world. And that to me is the history that I want to see, is to see everybody, especially women, to be recognized for being who they were truly meant to be, because that's how we're supposed to give back to the cycle of life, you know, while we're here on earth. So
Love
Definitely.
it. Thank you, Mel. Any other words of wisdom, ladies? Laura.
I've got one that kind of tags onto that. What I would encourage all women, all girls to do is to write both the good and the bad parts of their stories. You know, my work is all around flaunt, which is putting it all out there. Because when we share our difficult times, when we share our painful moments, it normalizes it and it connects us. And no longer do we think we're wrong or a failure because something fell apart. When we share the bad parts, then we all know, oh, I'm normal. It's okay to be sad, depressed, divorced, lose a child, miscarry, sick. It's all normal. So want it all, the good and the bad. Write it all, the good and the bad. Normalize it. And that is how we are going to reclaim and rewrite history for women.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Exactly. Normalize it. I love that.
Yeah, and I like sharing the good and the bad, because then you get the whole story versus it's not tainted or scripted or directed one certain way. You get the good and the bad. You get the whole story of us, and I think that makes it more meaningful and a well-rounded well-rounded thing to share. What about you, Stephanie? Anything you like to say?
Yes, I would encourage women, especially young girls, to be authentic, be yourself. Do not try to imitate anyone else, because you are the only one who can be the best at being you.
That's
There
right.
is no one else who can be like you. Absolutely no one else in the world. Be authentic. Don't follow the crowd. Be a leader and watch others follow you. And so I want everyone to understand that we all have an inner leader. And when we allow that leader to come up and come out, then we are able to move forward. And so I think what has happened in this society is everyone has become a follower and no one wants to lead. And so I encourage, especially our young ladies, take the lead. Don't be afraid. Be authentic, and never, ever, ever allow anyone to tell you that you are less than who you are. Believe in yourself. Believe in your creator, and allow yourself to be real and to be you. And that is what I would leave with our young ladies.
Beautiful. Thank
Excellent.
you. Thank
Yes.
you. JC, you gonna bring it home for us?
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, bring it on home,
Bring it
JC.
home.
Bring it on home.
Well, tacking on to what everybody said, I just want to tell young ladies that while you're going to share, while you're going to be your authentic self, while you're going to find your leader, while you're going to embrace each other no matter what works or life you are from, and while you're writing your whole story, just know that your past is not your present. Your past is not your present. Do not walk under condemnation of anything that may have gone wrong in your past. Yes, talk about it. Free yourself, because you're going to free somebody else by sharing your story. But don't stay in the past, because the future is ahead and it's bright and it's waiting. All you have to do is waiting. All you have to do is take a step. That's all you got to do. And like we have said, find women like this. Look at us. We are a multicultural, diverse group of women on this panel. Find a group like this, get engaged, and really find that support that you need. If you don't have it, it is out there. Contact Rochelle.
Definitely.
Contact her. She will put you in
I'll
touch.
put you out for sure. I will just
Yes,
make the
indeed. She
connection.
will put
It's
you.
all
She will
about
put
us
you
uniting.
in touch. Absolutely, with groups that can help you take it to the next level because you're all brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies. It has been an honor and a pleasure to have you with us today in Real Talk. I love the dialogue, the words of wisdom. It was good. And if any of y'all want to come back ever, just let us know. Just let us know. You know,
Definitely.
for sure, because I think this is a good thing for us. And the more we share our words of wisdom, the more you never know who you may be helping, right?
Exactly.
Sometimes people are sitting in the dark or sitting in the cut and they're taking and absorbing all of our information. And then lo and behold, I saw these guys on the Real Talk show on YouTube and Facebook, and they were inspiring, and they inspired me to do whatever and to create my own path going forward. And so thank you, ladies, for being with us tonight. Dr. Kim, anything you want to say before I shut us down?
No, I think the mic has been dropped several times, so I think there's enough for everybody to be able to glean from. So I just say move forward. We know the history. If you don't know your history, find out your history and move forward.
Love it. Again, thank you everybody for watching, and thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure, and I'm going to end the broadcast until next time. Join us.
Be safe, everyone, and be blessed. Be safe.